Bam, there we are, everybody. Welcome to the House of Holocrons, episode 34. In this one, what else is there to talk about other than Mandalorian and the craziness that is the first day of Star Wars Celebration? We're going to save the celebration talk till after Mando, whereas usually Mando is our main front point. It's not this week.
Yeah, Mando took a big side turn this morning.
Yes.
So we can get rid of Mando first. We can go over the big stuff because I know you're excited to talk about it.
I'm very excited, but no, all the news about the Acolyte and all that stuff, we'll save all of that news till the end because it is such breaking big news. Let's talk about what was, I immediately called it a side quest episode.
Yeah, well,
Except for the very end. Like, the last 10 minutes is prime story.
Well, a lot of the Mando stuff in the first season, the second season was mostly side story, but that seems like now the reoccurring, like we get side story, and then at the beginning and the end, we get a little bit of like core story, and then the rest is just filler. But I mean, it's kind of like they do a combination of serialized, where each episode is different in its own like story.
Yeah.
Whereas they do this whole cinematic thing, which is the new style, so it kind of combines both of them.
And I gotta say that as much as I enjoyed the fun, like this side story was at least a good one because it was so fun and and just strange, and you laughed like the whole episode, either whether you were laughing at it or laughing with it. Everyone was laughing. Weird. It was a weird one. So more or less, we get Din and Bo trying to get to the rest of the Mandalorians, like we saw in the last episode, and they go to a planet known as, what was it, Pfizer 5 or something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, this basically episode's based on a classic detective serial. Well, first off, we get them. Well, we get something before that. We get the private Corrin ship, so we don't skip over the Corrin part. That's pretty nuts.
I did not expect that to go where it did.
We're a female captain. She even has her own personal tank she can swim in. They're like an amphibious species.
They come from the same planet as the Mon Calamari.
Yes, yeah, they have a long feuding rival. Keep that in mind because it's about to bring that up. Long rival with Mon Calamari. Mon Calamari have always been the good guys, and the Corrin have always been the bad guys of Star Wars. It's just a civil war they've always had. Two different species, one planet.
Yep.
Both squid based.
One a bit more fishy, one a bit more squiddy. But yeah, we get to see, like, I thought it was a really cool tank system, how she's like in there operating everything, and then when the shit kind of hits the fan, the chair comes up.
The whole design of this ship was pretty awesome.
Yes,
we've only seen the Mon Calamari ships. We've never seen a Corrin ship before.
And the thing is with Mon Calamari, on Mon Cal, they're a massive builder world. Like the Mon Calamari are big with building ships and fixing up ships and things like that. Well, so are the Corrins, but people just don't care as much about them.
Yeah, well, the Corrins have always just been like bad guy filler. When you need an alien back.
They're like Nikto.
That isn't like
it's like
a Rodian or a
right.
Nikto.
Exactly. If it's not a Rodian or a Nikto, it's a Corrin.
I don't know if you noticed the ship was like a giant squid's head almost. The design was.
The very second I saw it, I got that like aquatic vibe.
They're traveling and they get interrupted by a Star Destroyer, which freaks them out. They're like, "Hey, we'll pay you whatever. We're not aggressive."
Yeah, she even says like, "I didn't know there was a warlord out here, so if
we'll
you
pay you for your services." And he's like, "No." He's like, "We'll pay you for your protection." It's like, "We'll just pay your money. Just leave us alone."
Yep. And we get a very suave voice, a very, very suave voice, which at first I was like, I have no idea who the hell this is because I didn't know their voice.
Well, starters, I've never heard a Corrin sound so clear like that either.
Yes, she did have a very clear, basic speech.
Yeah, her and the Mon Calamari that we haven't mentioned yet also has a very clear speech. When we've heard the Mon Calamari we've mentioned before, most of the time they do have this kind of weird talk.
Jowly. It's like Adam Akbar. It's a trap. Like they're very jowly, but
I mean, there's some from the Clone Wars that didn't have that, but yeah.
It's animated, so who knows about that? But most Mon Cal that we've seen are blubbery.
So back to the ship, the Star Destroyer. Turns out they said they're privateers. They're pirates, which is legal. Privateers is basically just legalized pirates. Some countries currently backing them so they can do legalized piracy.
Yep.
But we know who the crew is when we find out who's inside.
So we get to see Axe-Woves and Koska Reeves, so we know, hey, the Night Owls are... and it looks like this was probably Gideon's cruiser that they took, isn't it?
I couldn't find any connection to it, but it would make sense because this had to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, because they stopped Gideon. They
Hmm.
helped stop Gideon. So my guess is, if not, it would be an easy one from the takeover. I would be weird that the New Republic didn't take it first.
Yeah.
But I guess they ran off with it before they could. I don't know the background, but
We were gonna put you on this planet, and we're gonna leave.
yeah, if you're gonna be a pirate, having a star destroyer is pretty big deal.
Oh yeah, especially when it's manned by people full with Beskar armor. Like that's the ultimate. Like you've got the one of the best ships, and you've got some of the best fighters.
They can
So,
actually shoot things. So.
yep, exactly. But we find out that Axe Woves is there for a very specific reason. And as he begins to mention that they will not take money as a bribe, they're going to finish what they started, we see a very regal, noble looking Mon Cal come in from the back, talking about how he will not be split apart from the love of his life. If you've ever wanted to see a fish and a squid make out, you almost get to.
So some people are thinking that this is a reference several episodes earlier. What's his name? The guy that's running the planet that the Mandalorians are building a home on.
Oh,
Um,
Grief Karga?
he mentions earlier when that there is a noble son that's escaping bail and they're looking for him. So people are thinking it's this guy. It's
Yeah.
just like reference. This is like a way earlier reference.
Would make
So
sense.
yeah, and so basically they're saying they're hired to rescue the kidnapped, but they're like, but we actually love each other. He's like, I know. So he already
Yeah.
knew it, but it's very unusual, kind of a Romeo Juliet situation where the two families hate
Yes.
each other. And yeah, like you said, a very awkward kissing moment.
Oh, it was.
Oh, and
It
if
was
things
something
did,
else. Her
and if
little
this first part didn't weird you out, just wait. It doesn't stop. It's
The
the whole
episode,
episode.
the whole ride is weird, but I was so down for all of it. I thought it was a really, 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 really fun time. Um,
Yeah, and so they go to the planet, which is Plaisir 15.
Plaisir, yes, we go.
Plaisir 15. Um, to basically, she's trying to track down her old crew.
Hmm.
Which I guess this is with their staging point. It's the same crew. They get a lot of ships though. They get the ship that they helped steal
With
in
Mando.
season 2, I
Yep.
think. Yeah,
Yes.
and then several other ships. Man, they're all
A lot of
decked out.
Gauntless class fighters. A whole bunch of those.
I mean, if you're gonna start a fleet, that's a great way to start.
It's a great way to start. And like
yeah.
Bo says, it took her a while to build all that up. Sadly, before as they are in approach to that though, the ship literally just gets taken over and gets flown somewhere else.
And I'm kind of agree with some of the internet. It's kind of annoying 'cause some of the Reddit I've been I do a little research and see what somebody's pointed out, some I didn't notice. And I'm gonna kind of agree. That's a little. They could at least done a tractor beam because it's a little OP. Literally takes full control of the ship and controls it and lands it where they want it to.
Now
Why
I
hasn't
wonder.
the Empire done this before? Why is this the first time we're seeing this? Because that think about how broken that'd be if the Empire had that technology. He's like,
Yes. What I'm believing it is because literally the rest of the privateer fleet that is on this planet have the same exact ship. So maybe they worked with the Mandos on how to like in case any other Mandos show up to try and start shit.
I don't know. Bo is like so casual about it. I know this planet's supposed to be really advanced, but still, it just seems out of pocket. We've never seen that before,
Right?
And almost is kind of like what they did in the newer movies where they kind of did this whole like the skipping, the hyperspace jumping,
Skipping. Yeah.
yeah, which this was like before. It's like this is never possible because it breaks everything. So this is kind of that same. So, but I mean, it's as long as we just ignore it, and because it's a hard thing to defeat.
Yeah.
You just literally take over their ship. It's like, what are you gonna do? Which they can't do anything.
Right. I assume it's because they're so close to like their main hub of a planet and their city. So like all of like a ship might not have the power to produce that much of like a control over a ship, but a planetary like power station might. Who knows?
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact though that
something like this.
Yeah, but it's also weird because once they do land, the very first two things we see are two extremely imperial droids.
Well, even leading up to it, we start hearing this kind of explanation of like democracy.
Oh yeah.
And we kind of see it from the outside. We see on the inside this whole like utopia, futuristic, perfect utopia of democracy running everything. They even mentioned that the elected royalty, and then yeah, you meet the droids. You're like, hey, you gotta go talk to the people in charge.
Yep.
And yeah, you said that they're Imperial droids. They're black, an R2 droid and a
Protocol of some sort.
yeah, one of the weird protocol
Yeah,
ones.
with a sharper face. But I will say then, they get on this train system. The tram system is taking them into the city, and it looks opulent. The place looks gorgeous, like pristine.
Yeah, it's like if you just Googled like generic sci-fi utopia.
Future utopia, yeah.
This would be it.
Because at first I thought it might have been another Mandalorian place because of all the domes. But then when I saw,
Yeah,
but then it made more sense. Like, no, it's just fucking.
yeah,
future.
you and like everybody else.
Yeah.
they saw the inside.
Yep. And then once we get inside, there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens. But
so it did kind of remind me of when they did the Peaceful Mandalorians for.
Yeah.
There's no connection in my own, but when they did the Peaceful Mandalorians, it was kind of a similar situation. I got a kind of a vibe of how the people were acting.
Yeah. But once we do finally get inside, Mando and Bo walking around like, what's going on? And we hear, at first, before we even see anyone, I heard a voice, and I immediately went, I don't like this guy.
Well, I was spoiled by the voice, but it was so funny because I guess I was expecting my eyes went first when they went in there first straight for the palace guards.
Yeah.
Because they were all decked in stormtrooper armor with capes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. They go inside. They see two very famous actor and a famous musician.
Yep, two huge Star Wars fans, longtime Star Wars fans, finally getting their role, their moment to shine. And one of the oddest couples I've ever seen in Star Wars, but I fucking love them. We get to see Jack Black and Lizzo as the Duchess and was it General Bombardier? Admiral or
Captain.
something?
No, he's Captain.
Yeah, Captain Bombardier. Yeah. So he a high-ranking ex-Imperial. He even has
the amnesty program badge, which he says he graduated from. He mentions it later. And he's barely been helping her. They had like Imperials there, and then after the war, and then he was sent there for some reason.
Fell in love with her. And they've been helping the planet ever since. And to me, when I look at Jack Black's character, Captain Bombardier 100% strikes me as the kind of Imperial that was only an Imperial because Papa was an Imperial.
But it also reminds me of like when you see these like almost third world countries where they have like a wealthy royalty, and they have usually the king or whatever will have these like sessions with all these ribbons. There haven't been a single war. They got all these like identifiers, like all these awards.
Yep.
Because they just keep awarding themselves to make themselves look fancier. And in case they weren't fancy enough, we also have Lizzo's character. She's got this giant hologram flower following her around everywhere she walks.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty.
Everyone, even the other aliens in this room are wearing vibrant colors. Everyone, the tables are filled, and I fell in love.
Was there even a single human species at the table besides
aside from guards? No, I don't think so.
They were all alien species.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I love that it wasn't Captain Bombardier who was the bad guy. No. Jack Black's character seems like he's like I don't think he has a bad bone in his body.
So I was gonna say the bad guy reminded me of a Scooby-Doo episode. It was.
Oh yeah, the soon-to-be bad guy does remind me of Scooby-Doo, but no, Captain Bombardier seems like the kind of guy who is like, but Daddy, I don't want to bombard a planet today.
Yeah, he almost sounds like he's suspicious, but he's just like he is. He's like, I was bad. I was maybe one of those. Think of World War II. I was maybe on the other side.
Yeah, but I'm better.
I'm better.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to do all of that. I had to.
I mean, we don't have any proof that he did.
We have no proof that he did anything that crazy. But he also could have genocided a bunch of people. Who knows?
Well, I mean, in his defense, he does not look like your typical Imperial.
No, not at all.
He has a giant beard. Imperials don't typically do that, and he's larger.
Yep.
Typically, they're very skinny, very bland. Your typical kind of cut and paste officer. Especially the officers, they're very clean.
Yep.
And Jack Black in real life is the same way. He does not fit your typical Imperial officer at all. So maybe he was just like, because he was that way, Maybe they had him like some outer rim station. He didn't do anything.
Just get this guy out. Like he's that kind of like Imperial. They were like, please get
Like
Bombardier
he
somewhere
probably had
else.
connections enough to give him captain,
Yes.
like son of somebody, like you said,
Yep.
and then like they just sent him way out to so they don't embarrass the Empire.
He's the Jar Jar of the Empire. He's like, just get rid of him. Just make him
Like
disappear.
literally, his personality, character, and Jack Black do not. If you think like where he would fit in the Star Wars, I would not pick the Imperial officer.
Right. I could have seen opulent noble, like if he and her had never been Imperial. I could have seen both of them acting that way, but with him being an ex-Imperial, that was really crazy to see. And yeah, she's just a super rich lady who's been on this planet her whole life, and her family's been on this planet her whole life. But after Jack Black's character, Captain Bombardier, returns to help everything get back in order and they fall in love, they hold a democratic election and are everything, like literally everything.
Notice how like Naboo and which is a similar government, the royalty still get reelected. Like we are elected, but we get reelected royal. It's like, who did you compete against yourself?
No one. It's like I feel like that's what happens a lot with those kind of situations. Like no one, at least in a good situation, no one wants to run against them because they like them.
Yeah, well, it's like you win. Like we know you're in charge, but we're gonna elect you, so we feel better about putting you in charge because we're the ones who put you there.
Yeah, he was a facilities planning officer. That makes more sense. That would actually make sense as to then why they would send him to this planet. Be like, hey, newly reformed Imperial.
I can't see him planning very much.
But they have a great relationship, of course. Lizzo's character immediately attaches to Grogu.
A very weird thing I saw at the table. Well, I didn't see it at first when I was going back, and then I was reading. There's like at the table where they're all like eating and drinking. There's like this large dome above with this like floating sea creature, and they have like these tubes going into like their drink. They're all drinking from this like bowl, like on the ceiling.
This byproduct.
Weird, it almost looks like some people are thinking that it's. I don't remember what it's called. It's the thing from the weird creature from Solo. It's like. It gives off like the mind stuff, and so I think it's like giving them like dreams or whatever. Like it's like they're drinking like good memories. They think it might be like how the mind flayer works.
Okay.
But it's like an opposite, so that it's like a weird alien where they're just like sucking goodness from
it. It just secretes good juice.
It does make sense for this kind of like posh, like perfect society.
And that's kind of where we learn that things aren't so perfect, though. The main reason that they had to pull them in, they're like, oh, we'll let you talk to our privateers if you help us.
Yeah, and they can't, so they have an issue, and they can't do anything about it. So they have to ask Mando and Din and Bo to do it. Because they didn't join the New Republic, they are not allowed to have a standing military. So that's why they kind of have their own privateers.
Yeah.
But they can't let them into the city, and they can't let an army in the city. But these two, because they're not an army, and because
weapons are part of their religion.
Yeah, because their culture, the weapons part of their culture, they have to let them have their weapons.
Yep. Because that's one of the things they talk about.
Like Mandalorians, this seems like a convenient plot hole. It's like you go to a nice country, it's like, hey, no weapons. Yeah, but it's part of my religion. What are you gonna hamper my religion?
Yeah.
Or you gonna?
It's like the people who don't need the emotional support animal, but they get it so that the apartment complex can't tell them to get rid of it.
It's like something. That's why I feel like something that like they made up a long time ago, just so
people would stop. I'm not giving you my blaster. It's a part of my religion. And someone's like, oh, and they're like, all right, write that down. It works.
Yeah. So you're the Empire because you're oppressing us from our own culture. Hey, these guys are the Empire.
Hey, look at these guys.
They're trying to oppress our culture and religion.
Monty Python. Help, I'm being repressed.
That would be a funny little spoof episode. I see that.
Yes, I would love that. They aren't New Republic. They are independent. Yes, they are an independent planet. That is also true. They are fully independent.
No, that's why they can't have an army.
Yes.
It's specifically in the peace accords after the battle. They say if you can either join the New Republic or you can stay independent. But if you stay independent, you can't have a standing army because they just don't want a repeat of the Trade Federation and the whole shenanigans.
Yes.
And so that's the whole purpose of them having the privateer fleet and having Din and Bo, because they have to abide by the accords because they're staying independent.
Which, in a sense, this will kind of help us get into why there will be so many problems or issues in the future parts of Star Wars. Is if the New Republic has made this a doctrine, like you're not allowed an army, you either join us or you don't get an army. Someone's gonna go, you don't get to tell me what to do, and they're gonna fight the Republic.
It's like in World War II invading some of the countries.
Yeah.
It was a lot easier, whereas they joke the reason why you can't invade the United States because everybody has a gun. So,
Yeah.
like if everyone had an army, they would have been ready for the New Order, but nobody had an army ready.
So it kind of like shows like, hey, the New Republic's messing up by being so terrified of someone else trying to kick them over. They allowed for bad people to gain a foothold. Which is why a lot of people don't like the New Republic in the sequels and in a lot of Star Wars, because the New Republic is so new. They're not really helping as many people as the Republic originally was.
But, yeah, it makes sense because you want to start this new government, but the people in charge, they still got these like rich people, because you need money to fund the government.
Yeah.
And the people with the money are snobby. They don't they don't care. Most of them were involved with the Empire anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as they get money, whatever happens, and it's kind of ruined any real progress.
Right.
So during the New Republic, there really isn't much progress done. And that's it's kind of almost like if you think about the fall of the Roman Empire in a way.
There was a good period of time after that where it was just squabbling and constant city-states trying to gain power, which is exactly what's happening in the galaxy right now. Is just all these outer rim, mid-rim planets trying to gain their own sense of independence after all this stuff has happened. But more or less, the issue that they are having is that they need the Mandos to go hunt down some droids that are on the fritz. They're kind of going a little loco, throwing trash around, maybe accidentally assaulting a resident of the planet.
Yeah, they're repurposed battle droids, and, and
the planet is filled with Imperial droids and Separatist droids.
And it's funny, and then you get the funny line at the end after hey, we need you to check this out. And Din's like, you had me at battle droids. So.
Yes, I love it. He's like, yeah, we just need to check this out. I'm like, yeah, they had Din at pew pew. You mean I get to beat up droids? I'm in.
Well, that's a funny. He especially hates droids, but he really hates battle droids.
Yes,
so
he really hates battle droids.
Separatist battle droids. He was like, dude, I'm in.
I'm so in. But, I hope I get to put a few down.
And
which as they go around and hunting for these droids,
we get the first. So they go, hey, we need to go to the head of the droids. And so they go to like the department that runs the whole droid operation, which our next
Christopher Lloyd. I did not expect to see Christopher Lloyd in Star Wars. Doc Brown, everybody, is running the droid, like more or less the security room for Kaiser 15.
Well, since they don't really have a full police force, so they kind of are like they're like the tech guys who like monitor the droids and make sure they're functioning. Once the droids are in their place and they're doing their job, they kind of monitor and run the droids.
He shows them a few of the misfiring droids and what's going on, and they have a brief talk. They're more or less like, could you turn the droids off? He's like, yeah, I could hit that button and turn every single droid off.
So literally a big red button, like
turn them all off. But then he's like, but then everyone would have to go back to working, and no one here knows how to, nor do they want to.
Yeah, he said, he speaks about the whole problem with their perfect society, because if we do shut the problem off. Society will collapse because it's like, Wall-E, where nobody knows how to work anymore.
Yeah.
We just enjoy life as droids literally do everything.
They even talk about that. Everyone on this planet is a artist, a philosopher, they're a musician. They are going after their own whims. The only work is done by droids now.
Yeah, I wonder. They say it's a democracy. I wonder how money's exchanged everywhere.
True.
I wonder. The only thing I can think
it's not a democracy if you're a droid.
I wonder if it's a situation like, because you have like some of the Middle Eastern countries where you have Kuwait. When I visited Kuwait, all the citizens are all wealthy, and that's because the country itself has a ton of oil, and they got really rich on it. And they just drilled oil whatever. So the way they paid people back is, hey, we're sorry we drilled into your land, we don't know who belongs to whatever, so we're just going to pay all the citizens a ton of money. So everybody's super wealthy. And so all the work in Kuwait is done, at least the lower work is done by foreign immigrants. They get immigrants to come do their jobs for them. So it reminds you of that because it's a similar situation. So I wonder if they have some kind of byproduct that they're got where they get their money from, and so all the citizens just get a chunk of that. So they're just so wealthy they don't have to do anything.
Exactly, and there's something coming from this planet, obviously, that made them this wealthy. Because even like the royal family that Lizzo belongs to, obviously has money.
I
It's
mean,
a giant palace. I mean,
to buy all these droids,
yeah,
they had to buy them. There's no way that they had this many on planet.
see, this kind of reminds me some of space colonies in Isaac Asimov's books. I could really see that, especially like the dome planets. The droids do most of the work. Everyone just kind of does what they want to.
It fits. It fits a lot. A lot of people are comparing it to Epcot, where it's like the big dome, and it's like the visual of the perfect, and there's like robots doing things, and then they literally have trams taking you places.
I could. Oh my god, it's just Epcot. That's hilarious. But yeah, so they begin to then get boots to the ground, and they're going to start looking for these droids.
Well, first you tell Christopher Lloyd's character, which his name, I mean, it was something Hellgate. It's like Commander Hellgate or something Hellgate, which is like a very obviously bad name. They have to go down to the lower area where the droids are being built
by the Ugnaughts,
which is full of Ugnaughts, and she's like, "Oh, I hate Ugnaughts."
Yeah, and then Din's like, "What? They're fine. The Ugnaughts are great."
Which is funny. They go to they go down and they Ugnaughts, and then Bo's starting to say, "Hey, we need your help. We're here sent by the Royals, and they're
you guys have droids malfunctioning." And of course, the Ugnaughts like, "We do not have malfunctioning droids."
Well, they completely ignore her. They don't even.
Yeah, true.
And then Din starts talking like an Ugnaught.
I have spoken.
And he mentions he is a friend of
Kuiil.
Kuiil. And if you don't remember, Kuiil is the Ugnaught from, was it season 1?
Yes.
Where he teaches him how to ride a
blurg.
Blurg, yeah, there you go. And he's also the guy who mentions, hey, your ancestors used to ride the Mythosaur. You should be able to ride one of these things, you idiot.
Right.
And so, spending so much time with Kuiil, he kind of learns how to talk and communicate with them. And I wonder if Kuiil is a famous one because they almost seem to react to the name as well.
Right, and he says he's earned his honor and saved his clan when you talk to Kuiil, when he's talking in the first one. So if anything else, he might be one of the few Ugnaughts who worked so hard he literally saved his entire clan from the Empire.
Yeah, and immediately they're like, "Yo, what's up?"
Yeah. They just like, "What do you need?" And it's like compliment, question, compliment. I have spoken, and then they're like, "I got you."
And so they're like, we didn't. It's like we don't know what's going on.
We don't make faulty droids.
We do know that there may be another issue at this location, so you can go check it out if you want. Yeah. And that's the one thing he says when they're leaving. He's like, "Yeah, never tell an Ugnaught that they built bad droids.
They will never talk to you then."
And so they go, and there's so many references in the next scene. One I thought was hilarious that I didn't catch it first, but then I rewatched the scene that it referenced, and it's almost one for one.
Is this the droid bar?
No, the maintenance, because they go to the maintenance area first, where the droids are. So you get a battle droid that's instructing super battle droids.
Oh yeah, the awesome part.
By the way, it's so crazy that you use super battle droids as a way to carry these like supplies.
Not to mention they're just like weapons. Like their weapons are their arms.
It's like using like tanks or like to lug freight places.
Right. I use this here battle tank to get my water from this field to that field.
It's so but and so he's like, and Bo's like Bo's trying to talk to this battle droid. He's like,
and then Din just starts, Din just goes up and starts kicking him.
He's like doing this, and the battle droid's like, "Hey, don't do that." Hey, and it's like,
Bo's like, "Hey, talk to me."
Kicks him,
and then he's like, "Sir, please stop, sir."
When I first saw it, it reminds me of the reference to all those like videos on YouTube with them, like the robot training where they're hitting him with the stick stuff, and it's standing back up. But the scene, one for one, almost matches the scene from iRobot, where he goes in front of all the robots and he's like messing with them, and he pulls out a gun and starts threatening them. They don't do anything, gets the one, well, he sees one like move odd, and then he goes after it, and the one droid runs. And that scene where he chases the droid, literally, he chases him through the town and hopping over stuff, and literally he even throws him just like Din gets thrown in the chase scene.
But it is
So yeah,
hilarious, yeah, because he kicks him. The droid kind of like malfunctions a little bit. Nothing happens, and then like when he stands back up, it comes back. Droid, he just kicks him again, and then the B1 just kind of backhands Din out of space. He just like full body in the air, goes flying back, and then he just books it.
Well, no, the B1 didn't.
Oh yeah, the super battle droid. Sorry.
Yeah, the B1 can't do that.
Well,
they're probably break
it's hard for me to remember because it's like there's B1 battle droid, and then there's the B1 super battle droid.
Yeah. And then but yeah,
the super droid though just like bink.
Yeah, he flips him and he runs off, and they did this chase scene. And again, it's just such and it's similar, almost a similar story to iRobot in a way.
Yeah.
As also, it's like just your classic detective story.
Well, I love it. My favorite thing is after they're leaving, you hear the B1 in the background just screaming, "You should have left him alone."
But eventually they get him. They stop him. Bo shoots the droid.
Yep, they find a little card on him. Yeah. Which
it's this like, so it's supposed to be like this like thing that like magnetizes to the droid, and like it's like this like
nutrients thing.
Well, yeah, it like makes him feel better.
Yep.
And so they track it, and so it's just, but yeah, it's like a matchbook. They found the matchbook, and they're gonna track it down to the bar.
Yep.
And there's a droid bar. If you didn't get to like this classic show detective.
Yep. And we've heard of droid bars before, but this is like a full swing droid bar. This is awesome because with this planet being only operated by droids, there are so many.
Silly enough, we literally find droids drinking oil, playing sabacc.
Yep.
We almost get the exact opposite of the entrance from Mos Eisley, where they're like, no droids allowed. They're like, everybody just immediately stops
staring at the organics. They're like, what are organics doing in here? We find out that they drink something called like Nephilant or Nepilite, but more or less these droids don't drink. They don't just drink like oil and stuff, but they actually do have, I wouldn't say beverages, but they have things here that give them nanobots or things that'll like pretty much fix circuitry and keep them running.
Yeah. Well, what it's called is, because it's actually a big reference to something. So the thing what they've been taking.
Which all of them have. So what they find out, though, more or less, is that every single droid that's been taken, Nepentane, every single droid that's taken from this particular batch of Nepentane has gone rogue.
So basically, Nepenthe is the same name of a plant it's a real life plant that was named after a drug from the Odyssey, the epic the Odyssey. It's a fictional medicine for sorrow, is what they call it, but it's also called the drug of forgetfulness. And so it's kind of like a way for them to be rewritten, so that's how it's like a drug of forgetfulness.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a
soft reset.
So yeah,
it's like defragging. They're defragging their system.
So yeah, then they go to where there's an autopsy of the droid to see like which they have the Nepenthe in it.
I really like that the droid that they're using to operate on the super droid is a old Imperial torture droid.
Yeah, I was like.
They just painted him white.
And it was like they had to extract the Nepenthe. It was like, my first thought was like, depending on how far that goes, like, no, it just goes in the syringe. How is that? But that seems like a bad idea. You're using a droid to extract something that causes droids to
go crazy. And at first they're just talking about it. They find a chain code. They find Orabesh inside these nanobots, which are actually in the Nepentane, which is probably what's causing everything to go nuts.
Well,
once they say, Din and Bo are like
nanobots.
Nanobots,
yeah. The droid freaks out.
Yeah, because they're like, do you think it's active anymore? He just wigs out, starts shooting laser beams.
But yeah, the code tricks back to the Techno Union, which they find out that Christopher Lloyd's character was previously a member of the Techno Union. So they go back to confront him Scooby-Doo style.
Because they have the evidence, they have who ordered it, it's illegal, he can't even have done it, so he's done everything wrong. He left a paper trail.
He's like, you caught me. I did do this. He's like, they helped build battle droids back, and he's like, I was a huge supporter of
Count Dooku. He thinks Count Dooku is a visionary, which was awesome. He goes on about the corrupt republic, the corrupt empire.
And these corrupt people that won't do any work, they need to be woken up because they're so lazy, relying on robots to do everything.
But apparently the kill switch won't actually kill the robots. It'll kill the people. He holds his
The
hand
top.
over the button saying, don't you touch me, or I'll make every single one of these droids revert to their old
Which I think
programming.
is funny because he literally just threatened to kill the entire city
That he
or
apparently loves. Like, he apparently
the
loves
society.
this city. Yeah, he loves this society so much he wants to save it, but he's about to kill everybody.
No, he hates the society. That's why he wants to kill him.
Oh, yeah, he's sick. Yeah.
He's sick of him.
He likes the royal family because, I mean, he feels bad in the end. But they shock the shit out of him. Bo-Katan's just...
for forgiveness.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, forgive me what I did, even though I just threatened to kill everyone.
Everybody. But Bo does a very good thing. Bo does that classic kind of like detective story thing where she gets him distracted by monologuing and then tase.
Yeah, my first thought was like, the dude's old, just shoot the guy.
Yeah, he's not that fast. Just shoot him.
She shoots at a dart, electrocutes him. He collapses, has a heart attack, and
dies probably from the fall because he's an old man.
If not the electric dart.
Yeah. But they then take the Hellgate back to Bombardier and the Duchess. Apparently, Hellgate hates the hell out of Bombardier. He's even Captain Bombardier goes, I always knew you hated me.
He goes, oh shucks, he's like, please forgive me, and they banish him to the moon, which is similar what they did. Which is similar what they did to the Mandos.
Yeah.
The Death Wish, they banished them to the moon after they tried to attack the peaceful society. It was almost
true. A lot of similes and stuff.
But yeah, and after they banish the guy, they literally bring them a giant key to the city, a little key,
like a huge solid metal key.
If it doesn't get ridiculous enough, the Queen then knights Grogu, and my first thought was like, what did Grogu even do?
He's cute.
He just was cute the entire time and hung out with the Queen,
and got her to. And like, she got the best throw.
Get this key.
She got the best throw, bro. Grogu. Yeah, she got the best throw in the entire game that no one's ever seen before because Grogu cheated.
Grogu will not be a Jedi Knight, but he is now a Knight.
Yeah, he's not a Jedi Knight. He's a Mando Knight. He's a Knightalorian. Sir Grogu, thank you very much.
It's like, I got you there, Anakin. He's like, I became a knight before. Well, no, he took him about 50 years to become a knight.
Semantics. He's actually only like 3 or something, right?
Anyways, yeah. So then it's like, hey, we now approve you to go see our privateer force.
Yep.
And so yeah, they go visit the Mandos.
Yep. And we get more or less what we thought would happen. Axe Woves is like, stuff it, and Bo's like, all right, fight me. And they fight.
I know the episode was running to an end. Disappointingly short fight sequence. I was hoping a lot longer.
Still a good fight though.
Yeah.
Grogu is just collecting titles. Yes, Grogu is definitely collecting titles.
Jedi, Mando, Knight.
Tamer of beasts.
Killer of species.
But yes, so Axe Wolves gets drop kicked by Bo-Katan to open things up. Awesome. Yeah. Like the fight is good. It was just fast.
Yeah, I mean, it is realistic. Most fights in real life don't last that long.
And they never pulled
wearing
punches.
All that armor.
Yeah, I'll give that to this as well. They both actors, the stunt doubles, whatever, really looked like they were trying to kill one another. So like the fight looked good, but you could see like Axe Woves is trying to just beat up Bo. Bo is trying to make him submit.
But I will say, I know I'm bringing this way out of context. The one thing that drove me nuts the entire episode is there was one key thing missing the entire episode.
Helmets.
Well, her helmet specifically. She has no helmet. She leaves it behind. We see her no helmet at all. Drove me nuts. I think that's my personal opinion why they started including her, is they wanted to have an actor without a helmet, because Hollywood hates having anything on actors' heads, so they have to have an actor. So I think that's why it still bothered me. She could at least carried it around. Anyways.
Well, I feel like that's the whole point, though. Is like she's like, no, the armorer told me that I will walk the world between worlds, so I'm not even gonna wear the helmet right now.
Even Mandalorians that take their helmets off, they still wear their helmets.
But, I mean, you didn't see a single helmet on in that encampment.
Well, they were relaxing.
Yeah.
In their defense.
I feel like with this, too, with the fight and stuff, Sir Grogu, the ever-hungry Jedi Mandalorian. I like it. The ever-hungry. But I feel like it was more of a, like, well, his helmet's not on. I'm not going to put mine on. I mean, she didn't bring it, but...
Well, she didn't even have it in the first place. But, yeah, and so And then they're like, so she wins the fight,
Yeah.
and then Axe is like, "Well, you don't got the dark saber,
So
so
none of us are
we
gonna
still
follow
ain't
you
following
anyway.
you."
Yeah. And in which case, Din does what Din does best, and he's like, "Here," and everyone goes, "That's not how this fucking works, Din."
Yeah, and then he tells the story of how she should have it,
Rules lawyer.
which
Loophole. He found a loophole.
I think the loophole is still false. I think it's just good enough to make them believe it.
Yes. No, he was
Because
trapped. There was no one-on-one fight.
Yeah, there was no fight at all. He literally was just randomly captured.
And then it fell out of his pocket.
I believe the Darksaber is supposed to be dueled with the Darksaber to lose it.
Yeah, you're supposed to like. It's supposed to be an honorable duel where both parties know what they're getting into.
Yeah, it felt very cheap. I wonder if they're going to reinforce it where she still feels guilty, like, hey, I wasn't supposed to have this.
Yeah. Well, because I thought they were gonna fight. The way he's acting, then she will have it. I thought he was about to challenge her.
Yeah, that would have been way cooler. At least let them fight it out. You know,
it's false and no one can prove otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's exactly. She could. I feel like Bo-Katan could beat Din Djarin in a hand-to-hand fight.
Well, she's got way more experience than he does.
Right.
I'm hoping that she eventually feels super guilty about it later on, and she's like, "Hey, we gotta do this for real," and they actually fight it over. That's what I would like to see.
Exactly. Yes.
I just want to see the actual fight, not this whole like loophole. It just felt really cheap.
Yes, it did.
We got cheated out of a cool duel that we could have seen.
Well, because then that's the whole thing. Like that's why Bo-Katan was called cursed. Is because she was given the Darksaber. So I feel like even her as a character, like you said, she's gonna be like she's gonna be like Din. If you don't fight me, I'm just gonna start punching you in the face. You need to fight me.
Because it's gonna get to the point where they're going to get so many Mandalorians behind them that they're gonna have to figure it out. Because she can't just give it back to them. Because then it's gonna like
honor only counts when it's necessary. Yeah, but we are talking about a cult of very, very weird people who find it necessary all the time. But also, yes, it is a semantic thing. Din knew this would work, and Bo knew this would work. Now, since Din gave up the Darksaber, it is just a sword. With Din giving her that Darksaber, though, do you think then that Din is going to be the one with the Mythosaur? Or is she going to get both?
I don't know. I still personally think she might have saw the Mythosaur, but I feel like it revealed itself to Din. He just... Because he kind of got...
knocked out. Almost killed.
But I mean, the Mythosaur is also just a beast. It's not like it's like not like the Benthu. It's not like they're any kind of, and they're awesome ancient beasts. Don't get me wrong.
It might be force sensitive. We don't know.
But they're. I mean, if they are, then it's going to be Grogu for sure. That's how Din would get it. Because, like I said before, it'd be like it looks like Din's riding. It's actually Grogu.
Yeah.
They can't see him.
He's too small.
But I still think Grogu's going to be the one to tame it because of the Force.
The last shots, though, in this episode are Bo-Katan finally taking the Darksaber and then igniting it at her side with Din just standing there like, cool, I don't want to do this anyway. Have at it, girl. And I'm not going to try and rush this because, of course, yes, it is convenient.
Yeah.
It's similar to Klingons in Star Trek. They talk about honor, but it's constantly dismissed when convenient. Yeah. That's kind of how Mando's...
And also, the honor thing's kind of messed up because of how splintered it is. Also, the society was... I'll make it quick because I know we want to jump on the new reveals.
Yeah.
Again, because they also mentioned, like, Din can't be the leader because, one, he doesn't have Mando blood, and two, he's part of this cult. But that's still the old way of thinking, and that old new way of thinking where Mandalorians have to be a part of a bloodline.
Yeah.
And that's not true. So you got two different ways of thinking. You got the royal or, like, bloodline's important.
Yeah, purity versus spirituality.
Yeah. And so you get this whole conflict. So hopefully we get that fixed where, like, because that's, that's where we get alien Mandos. It's like, hey, you don't have to be born a Mandalorian to be a Mandalorian.
Exactly.
That was like the whole point of why everybody loved Mandalorians back in the day. So hopefully we see this Mandalorian, the show, fix what the Clone Wars did to Mandalorians.
Yes, 100%. But even more than that, guys, we have some super crazy stuff. We're just going to kind of, I wouldn't say quickly go over because I don't know how quick this is going to be because it's a lot.
Well,
and we're not going to be able to cover all of it. Ugh.
Today's the first day of Star Wars Celebration in London.
Yep.
And we have a couple more days left. But the very first thing in the morning, I woke up and there were so many drops because they had their whole... First thing they did was the cinematic announcements.
Immediately, which blew me away at I'm waking up at 6 a.m. and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm spamming our... It's like, hey, dude, there's this announcing. And then we get 3 movies announced. We get
Yes.
show footage, multiple shows.
Yep.
We get sequels for shows announced.
Teasers are dropped. The Ahsoka teaser is out today, guys. We're going to cover that in a second.
Let's first go with the movies.
Yes.
So Ahsoka probably last, since it's a lot to talk about.
God, yes.
So the 3 live movies announced. We knew one of them, but we got more details from the first one. We got announced. Nobody knew was coming. Which is the one by James Mangold, who's directing a movie set in the Dawn of the Jedi.
Like what, 25,000 years in the past? So this is
before
the creation of the Jedi Order.
25,000 years before Episode 1. This is pre-Old Republic. This is ancient.
Yes.
If we're gonna see some ancient Mandos, some early
ancient
Jedi, some early
Jedi.
Sith. Actually, there's no Sith at this point.
There no Sith species though.
Yes. But I'm saying there's no.
Yes, there are no
the Sith as we know it. There's no Sith.
Yeah.
Of that form. So.
But this could be vibroblades. We're talking like this could be KOTOR on screen.
I mean, originally the
even
old
older
Mandalorians before the Old Republic, the early Mandalorians were armor made out of bone.
Yes.
They were out of a mythosaur bone, and it was all bone shaped. So I'm hoping we get to see some of those guys. If not, I mean, even if we don't, I'm most excited about the original Sith.
The original Sith and the original Jedi. I want to see the schism. I want to see the great schism that breaks the Jedi apart to the Sith and the Jedi. I want to see the creation of lightsabers. I want them to use vibroblades before any of this. And like, oh, we're just now learning, or like have the proto pack lightsabers where they actually had to have a plug-in.
Vibroblades are so prevalent in the Old Republic. So yeah, we got to see a lot of them.
And this is the dawn. This is before the Old Republic. So this is going to be like the Tho Yor. We could see so many crazy things from the Dawn of the Jedi books and comics. This is the pinnacle of lore dropping. This is going to be everything that we never knew about the Force could come out in something like this. Because these are the people who first went into the Force, first started diving into the Force.
So then, contrast, we get a second movie announcement, which is one you already kind of knew about, just more detail, which is by Sharmeen Obaid Shinoy. I'm probably butchering their name.
Right. Apologies, but it's a fun name.
They're going to direct the new post sequels.
Set 15 years beyond Rise of Skywalker, where we get to follow Jedi Master Rey Skywalker as she begins to bring about the new Jedi Order and stop those who might be wishing to bring it down. I'm so here for this.
I'm hoping it's something
far
new.
enough away to where we don't have to like retouch any of this. Hopefully Finn's a fucking Jedi like he's supposed to be, with her teaching people on their new little Jedi Academy planet. And this could be amazing. Again, this could 15 years in the future. This is how we get like, oh, Mandalorians are a threat, or at least they're a massive culture again.
Is she? I thought we had one. I guess it might be. I'd have to tip. I thought we already. Yeah. I thought we had a female director.
No, not for a full-length film.
Okay.
So yeah, she is the first female director entirely for a full-length film.
Doesn't she have is she have a lot of movies? Isn't she like a big deal too?
I don't know. I don't keep track of directors, sadly. So yeah, if you want to look that up real quick, that would be.
I'll look it up. We also have, if you want to announce the third movie, which I also didn't expect.
I did not expect this at all. When they announced, they brought all these people up on stage, and Dave Filoni was one of the people on stage. That is because Dave Filoni will be directing a Mando movie, which is supposed to be the cumulative of all of the Mandoverse kind of coming together.
It was specifically described as the Mandoverse movie.
Yes, so this is going to be the big one that is more than likely going to be like, I imagine it's going to be a few more years, so we still probably might get one more season. But I see this movie as being like the end-all be-all for Mandalorians, and is going to set them up into their future and into their like what will become of Mandalorian culture in the future of Star Wars. This one, and it could even have some background because it's a whole movie. Like Dave is going to be allowed to really dive into this one and do his Mando thing.
She has a lot of movies, but I think some of them are foreign. I don't recognize any of them, and most of them do kind of look foreign. So,
and honestly, hey, that's cool because we need new eyes on the sequel. That's one of the biggest things. Someone entirely new and untouched by it.
And in a different a different style. She's gonna have her
Yes.
own touch on it.
Oh, and
But yeah,
so just in case you guys didn't know this, because I didn't know this, so I looked it up. The person directing the Dawn of the Jedi movie did Logan. If that gives you any idea on
oh
what
yeah,
kind of a
yeah,
director
yeah,
he
yeah. It
is,
is.
and
Yeah, that is
Logan's a good one.
though
So
I hope when we get into Dawn of Jedi, I hope we don't get with kind of the Logan style, which is the current style is really dark, gritty.
mhm.
Gonna get that with Andor. But and that's the way Andor makes sense because you get this kind of the Empire and everybody's
Yeah.
core. I would like when we go back in Knights of the Old Republic and prior, I want to see bright, vibrant colors. That was the whole
Hmm.
thing with the Knights of the Old Republic. Everything was bright, beautiful, almost kind of a Camelot, like
Yes, exactly. And the
thing.
High Republic, same thing. They're wearing white and gold because it's like a Renaissance.
I want to move away when we get into these new stuff. I'm hoping when we get this thing in the past that we
Hmm.
get more vibrant colors, you get more beautiful. It is dark, I don't want a gray filter and everything.
Yeah, but
Um,
they did put up like an entire timeline behind them as they were announcing
yeah,
this, and it is Dawn of the Jedi, Old Republic, High Republic, Fall of the Jedi, Imperial, New Republic, First Order, and then the Dawn of the Jedi, or something else is at the end. I can't remember right now. Um, but regardless of all of that, this is going to be ecstatic, guys, because with the Dawn of the Jedi and the Old Republic, this is where we get to see Sith armies. This is where we get to see like the Korriban. This is where we get to see Sith academies. This is the kind of stuff from the Acolyte and all those things. They're going to be pushing us towards some very crazy new stuff. And sadly, let's say Andor. There was a leaked
it's
trailer for #2. Looks
the
amazing.
new one.
It's
I'll say the new one's called the New Jedi Order.
the new
This
Jedi
is
Order. Yes. So we're definitely going to get some
Rise of
more
the First
Andor.
Order, Rise of the First Order, then New Jedi Order.
Okay, cool. We're definitely going to get more Andor. Season 2 of the trailer leak is out there, guys. It
Oh
looks
yeah.
like we would expect. Andor learning to become a spy.
Not
Um,
officially released. You'd have
yes.
to go in some channels.
Yep.
There's only one trailer that's officially released. We do get some of the cast talking about it. They're already filming it.
Yep.
I have the date right now because they didn't announce when to expect it,
Okay.
which probably might change.
Yeah.
Bu- 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 bu.
And then that's the thing with all of
Andor's
these dates. All of these dates are a little on the tentative side.
Andor season 2 announced with August 2024.
Yeah.
We also get
2024 is going to be Madhouse because that's also when we're going to be getting the Acolyte.
Yeah.
The Acolyte, we don't get a lot of stills or
Yeah.
images or trailer leak. Well, there was a leaked trailer,
They did have a teaser trailer that
which
has
is very
mostly,
kung
yeah.
fu film vibes, and that makes sense as to why the director literally states, "Think of this as Frozen meets Kill Bill."
I think it's gonna be
That
heavy in the
sounds
Kill
crazy.
Bill.
It's going to be heavy in the Kill Bill, but the
Yeah.
Frozen aspect makes me think that this girl must have crazy force powers.
Well, what they're saying too is a lot of it's very, very mature,
Mhm.
very mature. And they're talking about I was watching some of the actors talk about it. Also Amanda Stenberg, which is one of the I think she's one of the main characters.
Yeah.
Props on her for showing up in cosplay.
Yeah, showed up as Padme.
Nobody else did. So yeah, and they showed a lot of the cast for that.
It was hilarious. The gentleman who was from not Hunger Games, Squid Games. He doesn't speak very much English, of course, it's not his first language. He had a translator there. And I loved his story though on like, so Star Wars, and he's like, well, yeah, I got a call and they asked me to be on Star Wars, and even though English isn't my first language and I was gonna say no to anyone else, you don't say no when they tell you get a lightsaber. And that's the kind of stuff I want to see. I love knowing that all these people in Star Wars now are infatuated with Star Wars. They want it to be just as good.
I don't think we got a single actor that didn't say they were obsessed with Star Wars.
Right.
At least the new ones.
And I mean, we get the gentleman who played Chewbacca in the sequels after, of course, Peter Mayhew passed away. He's now going to be the Wookiee Jedi in the Acolyte that we've seen in a few leaked stills months and months ago.
We also, so moving on, we get another teaser trailer we don't get officially released for Skeleton Crew. We also get the cast announced for Skeleton Crew.
Which is definitely is going to give off this like run away from home kind of vibe. The teaser trailer pretty much shows kids.
Definitely Lost in Space vibe for
kids
sure.
Run away from home. They like steal a ship or something and bad things happen and pirates. Definitely the Pirate Nation and the Pirate Kingdom will play a big role in this one.
Well, we've kind of seen a leak trailer from that from the deal, and I confirm because I compared the images.
Yes.
We get the pirate Nikto pirate from Mando, the one that ran away. He's actually gonna. I'm assuming he's gonna be the antagonist, which was kind of the thought that we're gonna get the pirates return for the show. So yeah,
It'll be really cool to see more about the pirate nations because they don't talk about them much in what Star Wars we've had. So I know
it's
a lot
new villain.
Yeah, and a lot of people who love pirates are gonna love space pirates.
And then before the major announcement, I want to mention because we didn't get this, I couldn't find the clip to show you, but they had a teaser for the next episode of Mando because this leads into Ahsoka.
Okay.
So I have the transcript from the clip. I saw a little bit about it. Essentially, this is the clip begins with Elia Kane, which is the woman from
the spear.
She is speaking to Moff Gideon via hologram, and she tells a character played by Giancarlo Esposito
Very true, Jess.
that Cargo was aided by Mandalorians. Gideon then says he will deal with him before speaking to Captain Alien about the whereabouts of Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yep.
Moff Gideon says Grand Admiral Thrawn is missing. Then, with respect, our hope for success relies on the secrecy of his return. Alien replies, I never heard a word of Thrawn. You've spoken of his imminent return. Perhaps it's time we look to new leadership. So basically, what we thought they were trying to do is bring back Thrawn. We kind of get that validation. We will find it in the next episode. This is part of the next episode, so next week we will see this scene where they mention Thrawn. Speaking of Thrawn, which is the major announcement and trailer, if you haven't seen it, go watch it because it's everywhere. We first get some announcements of the actors and some images before we get the footage dropped, which we get to see. We see Mary Elizabeth Winstead play Hera, which we kind of got teased before, but confirmed. And we also got Natasha Liu Bordizzo as Sabine, which you also were kind of told, but weren't for sure. We also get the date of August 2023, and then the big trailer we can see Sabine, Chopper, Thrawn.
You see the Thrawn's back of his head. You get to see Chopper being happy, committing war crimes. You get to see Hera being a pilot. We get to see Sabine and Ahsoka talking about Ezra and like Thrawn and the heir to the Empire. And they said heir to the Empire, which is the exact title of the original books in the expanded universe where Thrawn took over the Empire.
And in case you weren't freaking enough, we also get to see possibly a Dark Jedi.
Two. We get to see who looks like Lena Bonacco from Star Wars: The Old Republic, a short-haired female and an older gentleman. Now, the short-haired female, they're both attacking. The older gentleman has me stoked. It looks like they're attacking a New Republic ship. She's attacking like a captain of the military. They have the brown jacket on. He's force choking like a prison guard or something because they have that blue suit that we saw in Mandalorian.
It's the
prison transport or something.
Well, no, they have a specific name. It's the Republic. It's like the ship. I'll get you a name.
Helmsman, later, but they fly the ships. But both of them are using these. Oh my God, the most gorgeous orangey red lava blades I've ever seen. So these aren't pure Sith because the Sith are taught to bleed their crystals, which make them that pure red. This is not a pure red crystal like that. This is something different. And they almost remind me of Old Republic Sith.
Well, they remind me of the old comics, the old Legend comics, where they talked about the Dark Jedi.
Yeah.
Talked about the later Jedi where they had orange blades and they had like armor and stuff. So yeah, that's what I think they're gonna be Dark Jedi, which is like they're Jedi that uses the dark side of the Force, but they don't follow the Sith.
Yeah, they don't follow the Sith cult doctrine. They follow their own thing.
Kind of mirrors Ahsoka.
Yeah. Well, and it almost looks like because her and that man were almost talking in the trailer before fighting. So it's like, are they training? Are they working together? Are they enemies? And that's the beautiful thing about this Ahsoka trailer. Those two being in there gave us so much speculation, so many questions, so many what the hell that everyone. So many
awesome Black Series figures.
Oh, those two are totally going to be Black Series figures. We got a few of those announced. Hey, by the way, can I just simply say the new Black Chrysanthemum actually looks like Black Chrysanthemum, and I'm really pleased.
Well, we also got the big announcement too. I mean, I'm jumping ships here,
Yeah,
but
always
with
fine.
the Bad
Yep.
Batch season 2 ones
Figures,
got
whole set,
shown.
the whole set, even a new clone commando,
We get
non-named.
we also get Omega with her bow. I didn't show you that one. She has an
The light bow.
alternate where the bow actually extends all the way and has the.
Oh,
I have to
cool.
send you that image. So
Yeah, I
it's
saw a few of them from Yak Face. But yeah, guys, Ahsoka's gonna be the big one. What a surprise! Ahsoka is coming out.
August 2023.
Oh, August.
Yeah.
My wife and son have the best birthday month ever now because they get Ahsoka for their birthday, and what else could you want? It's gonna be we're getting into the dead of heat, but we're all gonna be able to cool off inside with some Ahsoka.
And no, my wife's gonna make me get a Sabine helmet when they drop it.
Oh, they're totally Black Series Sabine helmets. That's gonna happen.
That's my wife's favorite character, Sabine. So yeah, she's here for this one, and then
we'll definitely get a new Black Series figure altogether, probably for the live action Sabine. Like we have live action Ahsoka.
The Black Series helmet for Sabine.
Yes, that definitely will happen. That 100% will happen
That's something I'll have to get for her.
Yes,
because we had a Sabine helmet that when she got on the show, we got somebody made molds of them. I had a mold, but it ended up getting broken and travel sadly.
Yeah.
So.
But no, guys, Ahsoka is going to definitely be one of the biggest things to hit Star Wars. It's going to move a lot of things forward.
I will say this is one of the coolest trailers we've gotten.
Yes,
for Star Wars.
It felt so good, and like she throws the lightsabers down and does that like spin move, and then like.
I was on my way to class this morning. I was leaving early in the morning, and I was late because I saw that drop, and I was like, I had to stop and watch it. I was like, watch it on my walk, and I had to stop walking.
I know, no, same here.
I ran back and yelled at my wife. I was like, look at this, and then
I had so many times today. Like I'm at work, and I was like, Chris, are you okay? I'm like, hold on, I'm busy. Hold on, no, I just gotta watch this real quick. And then I'd be like, oh my god, and I'd freak out, and they'd be like, what happened? I'd be like, oh, nothing bad. They just announced something.
And this is the beginning of the first day.
Right. This is only the first day. But we're going to definitely be getting new comic announcements and stuff like that soon. Comics and toys, I think, will be hit far heavier Saturday or Sunday. Comics are going to be a big one, guys, because comics are ending the transitional period between Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi. We are now out of the Empire Strikes Back, and the comics are going into Return of the Jedi. Star Wars main run, the next main issue, is how Luke gets his green lightsaber crystal. I am so excited to find out how he got that crystal. It wasn't on it. I mean, he might have gone to Ilum, but I doubt it.
We'll probably get something soon, eventually, kind of doing some pre-stuff for Rey.
Yeah.
Just what they usually do leading up to the movie. They usually drop some stuff for that. So
and we need a better Rey figure too. They lack not a single one of Rey's Black Series figures has her yellow lightsaber.
I am so ready for them to do a better job for Rey in this.
Yes, and Daisy Ridley deserves it. John Boyega deserves it.
Oh.
They all
That's an understatement.
John Boyega deserves a lot of treatment. That boy, I swear to God, if I don't see a lightsaber in his hand, if they make him just a normal everybody kind of guy, I will lose my shit and I won't even watch the other two movies. I don't want to be that kind of a guy, but
Can we get our third Black Jedi? Come on now.
Right, exactly. Fucking shit. But guys, it's gonna be amazing. This is the weekend to be a Star Wars fan. You know, I'll constantly be putting out shorts and videos over the random little things that drop Saturday, Sunday, Monday, stuff like that. And we'll be getting ready for the huge episode on Wednesday, where we're more than likely going to be talking about the Blue Boy.
Ron.
Little.
I mean, how are we going to get live action Rebel characters? We can get live action Thrawn. I mean,
dude, and this is just day one. So like, did they put all of their eggs in the first basket, or are these next few days going to have crazy out of left field announcements? Because it seems like everything that was covered today was the stuff that a lot of us kind of knew about. Like, it wasn't the super shadowy stuff, except for Dawn of the Jedi and Old Republic. Like, what if they already have Old Republic or like they've announced a Dawn of the Jedi thing, but what if they've already got some in the wing?
I think this is the major announcements. I think the rest is going to be up to panels. I think we're gonna get mostly some leaks from panels when some of the actors spill the beans.
Yeah, a few snippets, maybe a few like set images and stuff like that. Oh, I'm sure the Ahsoka panel is gonna be lit.
I think the rest of the major announcements are probably going to be products, either comics or the
Toys
figures.
and
So, yeah.
figures, T-shirts. I'm probably gonna have to get myself one of those Star Wars Celebrations 2023 shirts. They still sell them online. I might need to grab one.
Yeah, it's the dream.
It's I can't wait.
If you make it out
2025.
there,
Yeah, if you
if
make
you
it out
made
there,
it out there,
guys.
I'm so super
Yep. The
jealous.
FOMO is real, but in 2025, when it's back in the States, that's the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. And I'm gonna be there. If we can do it, hopefully, House of Holocrons can come to you live from a hotel, wherever it's celebrations. So that'll
Yeah.
definitely be the main hope is for next celebrations for us to be there, as every fan would love
Start
to.
saving up now.
Exactly.
Go to California probably.
Maybe they'll be smart and put it in the Midwest. They won't, because it's in the middle and it's easy for everyone to get there.
They used to, before Disney bought, they used to bounce it all over the
Yeah.
country in multiple countries. But now that Disney took over, they've been mainly putting
Orlando, Anaheim. That's like it. But oh well.
in London.
Yeah, and in London. But whatever. I'm just happy with the news. I'm not going to complain too much about not getting to go because I mean, like, you honestly almost.
I will.
I will. I mean, but you get more by not going because if you go, you stand in line for one panel for half a day, whereas I didn't have to stand in line and I got all that news.
I mean, at that point, I'd still be all for it.
I'm just trying to make myself not feel bad.
I'd be sweaty. I'd be in a sweaty costume. I can't see very well. I'd be crowded around people.
And you'd be happy.
Yeah, I'm Star Wars, and then hopefully I got tickets to go visit the park that I've. Well, no, that's London. They don't have it. But when we go to California,
yeah. Hopefully, if they have it at California, you know we go into Galaxy's Edge. Again, forget Batu. Turn that place into Navarro. I would rather go to Navarro now. But guys, thank you all so much for stopping by. We could have kept going on tangents for another hour simply just on these launches.
Please sign up for my petition to turn Epcot into Pleasure 15. Thank you.
Yes. If we get 50,000 signatures, they might take us a minute serious. Rename Epcot Pleasure 15 for May 4th from here on out. All right, guys. Again, thank you all so much. What an amazing time it is to be a Star Wars fan. Have an amazing rest of your evening, and as always, may the Force serve you well.
May the Force be with you.